Are you guys ready for some award-winning roleplay?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. Welcome to the Hidden Roleplay Podcast. It's our second Scummy Awards. Scummy Awards, what are we calling this? 2020 or this is 2020, 2021? Or I'm not exactly sure what we called it last year. I think it's
I don't
2020.
remember. Okay.
Because, it's for
like how the Super Bowls work.
Right.
You know?
The Super Bowls are very confusing for me, too. Yeah. So we're going to call it
The second
Scummies 2020.
Scummies.
That's what we called it last year. I'm sorry.
This is Scummies II.
Here you go.
I'll allow it. Anyway, this is the Hidden Roleplay Podcast where we discuss deception, hidden role games. In this specific one, we're going to be talking about HeyTrainer Mafia, all 5 games that we played this year. We matched last year's output. I feel like we could have gotten a 6th in, but had kind of a delay there, October, November. Didn't we not play for a month?
There was a break.
Thanks,
Yeah,
AP.
the break was fine.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Well, it's time. Our ballots are cast. All that's left to do is decide who has the glory and who has the shame. Nah, I'm not about shaming anybody. Graham, how you feeling about your chances today?
I'm not feeling great about him, Kyle.
What?
Not gonna lie.
I feel.
We'll see.
Because I rigged the
About your
election.
chances or? Oh, okay. All right.
Alex, how about you? How are you feeling about your chances? You're up for 1 nomination.
I'm okay. There's a lot of competition in that category, so
I should
Not bad.
specify that you guys don't know what happened. Only I know.
no.
all
I do
That is
not.
correct.
So what you're going to be hearing is all surprises to my man Poteet and my man Raptor Zone. Only I'm in on it. But I will be sending them the results as they come out. I think I'll just post them in like 2 weeks on HeyTrainer as well. But give like a buffer so people can see them themselves later on,
So if you're listening to this, don't post all the results.
please.
Please.
All right, then. So, like I said, we had 5 games. We had Mafia 20, which was Deadly Planets by our moderator, Poteet. We had Mafia 21, which was, and this is the one that always escapes my memory,
Doc Holliday.
Duck Holiday, which was moderated by Jellyfisher and Fear the Pika. Then we had Conflict Resolution 22. Again, Poteet, really gunning for that.
Maniac.
And then we had myself doing the Turnabout Karma, Mafia 23. And finally, Mafia 24, we got Kralit and Fear the Pika doing double time as well. And theirs was Happy Town Friends. All right,
Correct.
I made it. Why didn't I write any of that down? I don't know.
I have no idea.
How many votes do you guys think we got?
Well, you told me the total the other day.
I do not know the total.
What do you think, Graham? What was our turnout? Did I Stacey
23.
Abrams this?
I'll say 23.
No, we didn't get that many.
Shoot.
We got 19 or 20 for some categories. A couple of them were optional after a point. At the beginning, I had them all required because if we only had 5 votes, I wanted like 5 in every category. But after that, I made them not required. So some have 19, some have 20. But
Okay.
I'd say that's a pretty good turnout for what we've got.
I think that's comparable to last time, right?
Yeah, I think it's actually the same.
Okay.
Without further ado, let's get to our first category of the year, and that is Role of the Year. This is an award for, I guess we should say that there's not like a definition for what these awards stand for. It's kind of what you think the Role of the Year is. Do you think that means that was the most busted role? Do you think that was the most fun role? Do you think it was the most memorable role? It's kind of up to beauty in the eyes of the beholder.
I like the ambiguity.
Yeah, me too. And so we have our 4 nominees. They are Misty Moss, which was the person who caused the cosmic drought in the first Mafia game of the year, the infamous drought.
Whoops, my bad.
I also nominated Mars, and I'll cop that I came up with most of these nominations myself because I'm pulling all the work here. But I chose these two to nominate because of how memorable they were. One, the Cosmic Drought, obviously, was game ending, and then Mars for the stealing of a town player to the Mafia side.
Yeah.
So it might have been it's been a hot minute since that game, but that's a refresher on those. Then we've got the Rancher and the Bartender from the following game, and these were a dual combo tandem priest role where they got to decide on who to protect together, which was really interesting. And then it became more complicated as either one of them either confessed to being the priest or one of them got eliminated. And finally, we have the Weeds Rossetti role from the most recent Mafia game. Graham, do you want to explain the role you had in a succinct way?
I couldn't die.
Yeah.
Unless it's a bit big unless someone took the time to actually the people where my weeds were took the time to pull said weeds during the game day.
In my opinion, someone asked. In my opinion, the language was close enough in one of the posts, but I guess we're being technicality.
Well, I mean, one person did it. You know, I mean, I think they would have let them get away with it being close, but never. It was never both of them were close enough.
Whatever, must be nice.
It was really nice.
Well,
I'm sure I had that role this game.
Now, this is one of the categories with the fewest nominations, and before we get to who won or speculating about that, what I'd like to do prior to announcing the winners of each category is we're gonna toss it over to our stats man, Raptor Zone, who is a fan of the gambling, pays attention to the Vegas odds, and he's also only played in 2 games this year, which is fewer than myself and Poteet. So he's been more objective throughout the year, and he knows a little bit about what happened in each of these games. So, at Raptor Zone, of these 4, who do you think is the favorite to win this? Who do you think either the community would be leaning toward, or who do you think Vegas would put the money on?
My initial thought would be the drought role, just because I think if you're going to read these 4 nominations, that's going to be the one that jumps out to you immediately as, oh, I remember that. Whereas the other ones, I know when I read it, I had to remind myself like about the Rancher and Bartender. So I didn't quite remember that. So I would lean toward drought being the winner here. I do say, I think this is my own fault because I didn't tell you. I think there's an underrepresentation for conflict resolution in this category.
Yeah,
I thought there were really interesting roles.
Nomination, Dick.
I know, that's my own fault.
What would you have nominated?
I think one of the evil world leaders, just because they were all interesting, that they were solo mafia roles. So any of those. I thought the Abraham Lincoln role was fun. How you got to hand out abilities to town members. So,
well, that's the only one I can remember, and I didn't nominate it, so maybe one of you guys should have.
So my pick would be the drought.
Your pick would be the drought. Okay, so Graham, this is an interesting category. All of these received at least 1 vote, and none of them tied. So, what would be your top? What order do you think it's going to be in? Or maybe just give us a top 2. What do you think won? Who do you think's runner up?
I'm going to go with the Dual Priests 1, and Rossetti was 2nd.
Wow, you're just totally blowing Alex's whole deal here.
He didn't give me an actual line, so I don't know how much I'm blowing it by.
Oh, I'm not giving lines. I'm just telling you.
Well,
I'll give the drought minus 200. How about that?
I will fess up. I voted for the priests. How about you, Graham?
I believe I voted for Rossetti.
And maybe that's why it won. Congratulations. That's not really a personal award. You didn't come up with that shit.
No, I played it though.
You just played it.
But you did play it. You did make it memorable. So in some way, you can take that as a win in your book if you want to have a little star on your plate.
I'll take 5% of the credit.
That's true. If you hadn't made it to the end, this might not have been as memorable.
Thank you.
I'm sending you guys the results now. So in first place, we had Weeds Rossetti with 40% of the vote. In second place, we had the Tandem Priests with only one fewer vote. And then we had Mars and then Misty Moss. Wow, totally the opposite.
Wow.
Vegas.
Raptor sound totally bad. Way bad at this.
Cousin Al.
Totally crush your confidence just like Mars crushed that other planet or whatever happened.
It's all right. I'll bounce back. Every gambler does.
That's the right attitude.
Cousin Al.
Works, right?
Yeah, that's how math works. Yeah.
I have scheduled some guests to come on and accept these awards. I think it's only right that we give Jelly and FTP their accolades. So why don't we pause now and bring them on? All right, we've brought on some guests. Say hello to the loving masses, Jelly and Fear the Pika.
Hello, my subjects. And hello for me, the not creepy one.
Well, your opinion.
I'll take it.
So you're probably wondering what we brought you on here to talk about.
Yeah? Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I would like to first and foremost congratulate you. You guys want to fill in the blank?
Me?
No, which one was the winner here? Because they're both nominated for Role of the Year. I won't be that cruel. Fear the Pika, we're gonna give it to you for your nom with CRL for the Weeds Rossetti role, the Role of the Year. How does that make you feel?
Confused.
Oh no.
Happy, but also that was like the stupidest role I've ever thought up. So
No, I told you when you guys wrote it, it was a beautiful role.
He doesn't accept the win.
no, I will. I'll take it.
I don't accept the win. But...
I mean, I remember messaging Graham with this fake role saying, "Here, this is what we're going to give you. If you get pulled, you die. You can't win." And then
what I say back?
You wanted it so much, we made it into a real role.
Dang. So the con is on. Sounds like collusion to me. I know.
Oh, there was no quid pro quo.
So do you sounds like do you have regrets about this role? Would you have done it differently?
No, I don't have regrets. I remember what you said about it in the last podcast for Happy Town Friends and realized how horribly it could have gone if you had gotten it or somebody else much more chaotically minded than Graham.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I took it as a compliment too, so it worked. The not to be, totally make you feel out of the loop here. Jelly, the rancher and the bartender also got second place.
Okay, I'll take it.
And it was only separated by a single vote. This is a close one.
Which did you vote for, Philip? Not Weeds. Okay. That's good.
That's fair. That's honorable.
I mean, considering we made that one together, I voted for that one. Good.
What tandem? The two of you can going with a 1-2 finish, just taking the house to Mr. Poteet over here, getting third and fourth place. Yikes!
Fine.
To be fair, I set you up for this by nominating you twice.
Yeah, I'm just happy that people liked it enough to vote it for first, and then the bartender role as second. Yeah, that's just really nice.
I think one of the things we talked about was how we've left kind of the categories open-ended, like we haven't given any qualities that you should be looking for when you vote for this. So I think how memorable these roles were might have been the most contributing factor. not being able to vote Botia out of the game is pretty memorable.
Thank you.
And unfortunate.
Unfortunate for everyone playing.
All right, well, I'll close with this. 1, do you have anyone you want to thank? And 2, you got any other winners in the works for next year?
I want to thank the amazing CRL88T for helping out with Happy Town Friends and helping to make that role too. Even though she threw me under the bus and said the role was entirely mine. So yes, I will happily accept that scummy by myself.
All right, well, I look forward to seeing what new innovations you guys come up with next year if you intend to keep moderating. And if not, I look forward to giving you terrible roles.
We have a couple.
More than a couple.
Come on.
Oh, we're not leaving. We have concepts planned for, I think, like 5 games.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's too many.
Ducklet will never die.
No.
Chocolate Sugar is the one who couldn't be voted out.
Why?
Because he'll never go away.
He doesn't die, he just cries.
All right, thanks for joining us, guys.
All right, yeah, thanks.
On to our next category. And we have another somewhat impartial one, the Mechanic of the Year. It's not the same as Moderator of the Year. It's something that a moderator comes up with, however. So we're trying to reward some creativity in the same way we said this role was really great. What else did you do to jazz up your game? And we've got a lot of differences here, and I just thought it would be nice to nominate one from every game. And first up, we've got the ones from that Deadly Planets game, the mini games that we played with the storms, deciding where to hunker down at night, and whether to do or not to do maintenance on our spaceship. Then we had the auctioning for the items from the following game, where if you wanted an ability, well, how much you willing to pay up. And then we had the related aid cost for abilities, but this time, instead of deciding for yourself what you want to pay for them, someone else is deciding for you whether you deserve it or not. And a selected tribunal of players distributed that. Then in Turnabout Karma, we had the rotating power rolls, where you received a roll and then you'd have to give it to someone else, and hopefully it didn't get sniped in the night. And player classes, where certain players would benefit from having those rolls. And finally, the interactive campsite of Happy Town Friends, which was part of that Rossetti roll, just seeing the graphics and trying to interact with what was on the page as part of Day Talk. So, interesting about this one, once again, we have votes across the board. Once again, we have no ties.
Wow.
Cousin Al, who's the favorite here?
This one is actually tough because honestly, I could see any of these winning. My gut goes with the rotating power rolls because I just think that one was the most out there and different of all these. Yeah, that would be my pick, is the rotating power rolls.
Okay. Graham,
Little top 2?
Is the top 2 here.
Yeah. I think the power rolls wins. And I think Tribunal second.
You're 1 for 2. Now, what'd you vote for?
I voted for the power rolls.
As did I, and maybe that's what pushed it over the top with half of the vote. Rotating rolls is going to take it this one, and I'll happily accept it as your 2019 Moderator of the Year. It's nice to know that I haven't lost my touch. I still got it.
Handing out awards to ourselves.
We are pretty great.
10 people voted for me. So.
Hey, I can't help but realize, speaking of voting for ourselves, there was no Podcast of the Year category.
Well, I think we know who would win that one.
Well, if another HeyTrainer wants to start producing one.
We have a nice even 10 rolls now. If we ever add an 11th, we have to make it even again. So we'll add a 12th. That's this Podcast of the Year, and then we can give ourselves more worth. So In first place, we had rotating power roles and classes. I was pretty proud of this one. I thought it was a really creative idea, so I feel like it was deserving. And the electorate agreed with me with 5 votes in second place. We did have a tie for third and fourth here, so I misspoke. But with 5 votes in second place was auction for items.
Okay.
That one seemed pretty popular. I think it got the most nominations too in the thread.
I have no snub complaints for this category.
Great.
We don't have to bring anybody on because I've already accepted the award. Is there anything else you guys want to say about this?
I'm good.
Do you want to talk about what inspired you to make this?
Kyle, tell us.
I mean, you talked a little about it on the Turnabout Karma podcast.
I mean, if I could remember.
Will you be bringing this back?
Well, Absol Trainer was talking about bringing it back, and I do think it would be really cool to just see it run back and see if some of the creative combinations that were possible could make their way into a run of the game. Basically, it comes back to my strategy of trying to design games where everyone could have a power role, everyone could have a really big impact on the game. And in some ways it worked, in some ways it didn't. And I think the game could have definitely benefited from one more town player. So I would make that change probably if I were to do it again. But in general, I thought it had the desired effect of second guessing yourself. Do I send it to someone who gets the benefit of this role? Do I send it to someone who I think won't get night killed? Never saw its full potential, but I think it was one of the ideas I'm more proud of. I think I still liked my game that I made last year better, but I think this one wasn't anything to be ashamed of.
Okay. Thanks, Renfield, for coming on to our pod. Now back to Kyle.
All right. Our third category of the night, 2020's Worst Bluff. I think this might be arguably my favorite category. And that's not to say that I love to hate or I just like to stew in other people's misery, but there's something about it, like a train wreck you can't turn away from, right?
You like to catch people in lies.
I do. And you know, it's a game where the good lies pay off and bad lies don't. And you got to make them. You got to take them to make them. So
that's right.
We're out here to have some fun. Let's take a look at our nominees.
Okay.
In the pole position, we have Atarian, who invented the IR scanner's output of 36D. You know, before we started doing this, I meant to look up, is 36 degrees like the Celsius degrees of one of the planets? I'm not sure, but I failed you there for not looking it up. I wonder where that number actually came from.
If I remember right, I believe he just made that up. He just pulled it out. And then there was, sorry, I'm derailing us, but then someone else responded and found out that it actually meant something.
That was jelly, yeah.
But I believe it was all just a coincidence.
Yeah. Different temperature.
He never got a result for the thermometer because he attempted to use it on Bori, who was night killed.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's just all a fabrication.
Next, we have Darth Pika, who claimed as Mafia to be the seer, but had played the game up until that point as criticizing anyone who had come forward with information. We shouldn't share this. We shouldn't share that. You would think if you're a seer, you'd want people to process and eliminate your options. Didn't work out for him. Next, we had Master Mukau twice.
Oh, no.
I think this category last year also had someone nominated twice, so we're continuing that pattern. First, Master Mukau is nominated for calling himself Reg the Loner instead of the old timer, and everyone caught on in the Mafia, and he was eliminated immediately. And then he's nominated again for claiming to be Obama looking for bin Laden in conflict resolution and getting removed from the game immediately. tough look for my guy, Master Luke. And then, last but not least, we have Jellyfisher, who I don't have the context off the top of my head, but he claimed to some extent to be able to control who'd be removed from the game while being in 2 chats. And in the chat with the town player, he admitted he was bluffing. While in the chat with the Mafia player, he did not. And Mafia took his threat literally and removed him from the game for making. We've got a nice crop here.
I like all of these.
Good competition.
Raptor Zone. Who's the favorite?
Well, I think Master Mukau, him being in 2 different ones, that sort of splits his vote, you know?
Yeah, I think you're going the other way on
Me
that.
too.
One.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm not going with either of his, even though
maybe that's the strategy. If you're bad in one game, you definitely have to be bad again.
Right. I think I lean
yourself
toward
multiple times in the same category.
I lean toward the Darth Pika Seer one winning. But I think that night we'll probably discuss that night later on with other categories, but I think that was a very memorable night for a lot of players.
True. Graham, what are you thinking here? Might be our top 2.
I think Atarian wins. And then I think the Obama bluff comes in second.
I wanted to pick it, but.
And who did you vote for?
I voted for Atarian.
I also voted for Atarian, and yeah, it was Atarian.
Let's go.
In second place is Darth Pika.
Okay.
And in third place is Master Mukau for what you said he would get second for. So you're pretty spot on there. You're just slightly off. Atarian did win by a pretty decisive margin, however, receiving 2/3 of the vote.
Oh my.
And once you know it, we've got Atarian here to either embrace being the person who came up with the word bluff or defend himself. Atarian, get on in here. Welcome on the pod, Atarian. Say hi to the masses who are eagerly awaiting your thoughts today.
Oh, well, hello, everyone. This is Atarian. My thoughts on
which award do you think you won?
Oh, boy. It can't be anything good if I'm thinking about it. I'm assuming it's probably the bad one, the one that apparently is infamous and quote unquote infamous, I'm gonna say.
So are you referring to the Burn the Town to the Ground award or the worst bluff?
I'm gonna go with one of the worst bluffs because I think I had 2.
Oh yeah, you're only on here once.
Oh.
So that's one you think you won?
I think that's the one I won. Or I won both.
You got 2020's worst bluff of the year.
You got it.
Yay. Oh man, I can't wait to talk about this because I don't understand how bad it was.
Well, help us see your point of view. How did this originate? Let us into the Atarian zone.
Well, I have a.
So let me just. There might have been a pause between what we talked about before and we talked about now. We're referring to the 36D from the IR scanner.
Oh yes, my infamous play. Well, I like to wear my emotions on my sleeve pretty heavily, and I think this is one of like my 4th or 5th vanilla rolls in like the past, I don't know, 10 games that I've played. I've had straight vanilla town, and I like to take risks, and that backfires sometimes, you know.
Right. So your ability usage ended up not getting you anything, so you decided to take matters into your own hands.
Well, So I finally I got an item. I'm like, oh wow, the last game I didn't even get an item, but then I can't use it until night 2, I believe. And so I'm like, well, shit. I want to do something, and not many people seem to like Maddie in that game, and he was showing some scummy tendencies, or at least in my eyes. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna push him. I'm gonna make up a claim of this IR detector, use its flavor, and try to squeeze out a possible mafia, possible indie, something. And I don't think anyone realizes the genius behind 36.9D.
The genius.
The genius.
So why is that? What's that number? Where does it come from?
Well, I wanted a number that it needed to be like look appealing. 369 is it's like a little sequence. 369
Fibonacci sequence.
Okay.
369 degrees Celsius is actually around 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. So it's like normal body temperature. It's like, oh, your town. But if it's 36.9 degrees Fahrenheit, it's it's too cold. Got some lizardmen people going on here, some alien scum. But in a third twist, if I really wanted to stretch it, there's actually another scale, Delisle scale, I think is what it's called. And that's technically like 170 degrees Fahrenheit. So I kind of cover it's too cold, it's just right, and it's too hot for degrees. And I was just trying to poke the bear on Maddie Stacks. Now you're probably can I, if I can keep going, why wouldn't I just confess? Why would I say like, oh yeah, I lied? People weren't liking my play. They weren't really understanding this IR detector that I lied about. But it's because it so happens that my Dark Horse Mafia pick, Borichu, who I had targeted with night 2, had been night killed. So I had lost the effects of the IR detector. All I'm left with is my lie about it, and I wasn't in good standing, and the game was just kind of getting out of hand. But I don't remember how prominent it was in later days. I know the game ended with people voting me, but I don't know how much the IR detector actually affected the game in the midst of that.
I'm also failing to remember how many people were there at the end of this game. I remember there was a lot killed at once.
There was a lot killed at once, but I think it only took 5 to vote me out in the game.
9? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds right.
There was a decent chunk. I don't really remember the end of that game other than I definitely got too emotional. Something I've been trying to not do. This is like what, a year ago now?
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time flies.
2020 changes a person,
So would you say that you would you use a similar bluff again? Do you think like it was just executed incorrectly, but the merits were good?
Yeah, I think there, like in previous games, there have been bluffs made or like a smaller gambit made. Just from like, you throw someone out there, you try to like work them up, and then someone jumps on to like do a pile vote, and then you're like, oh, I'm just kidding. I definitely wasn't thinking that, but you came on too quick. There's a trap. This is kind of like the extreme version of that, of me being vanilla trying to do way too much just to, if it turned out that he was scum, it would have worked heavily in my favor, but it's my fault for not, saying, oh, I'm just lying. I can use it the next night. But then if I would have said that, I could have been killed earlier maybe, because I have a way of possibly finding scum early. So just tried to sweep it under the rug, and it was a little too big. So honestly, I still don't understand how that's the worst one, if I'm being honest.
Well, do you remember who you voted for?
Man, I can't even remember.
The other runners-up were Darth Pika's claiming Seer and Master Mukau claiming Obama.
The Obama one, I think, is the one that I voted for because, and I wouldn't really take part in that at all, but I know that reading back on that one, that was a little bit of a mistake, even though I wasn't the one that took him down that game. Can you guys give me a little bit of insight on why that was such a bad? Like, you guys have probably done a little bit more.
I think so. One thing that sets yours apart from the other ones is that it, I think, is inherently more random. Like most of the other ones have to do with, three of them have to do with their like role or ability claims, and so I think in general people think those are like just more acceptable. The other one is the Jellyfisher one, and I think that one was just boring. I don't think people thought about that one too much. The one where he claimed he had control over the ability to remove a player during the day. To be honest, I did not even know that one happened because it happened after I was removed from the game. Yeah, so I think by default yours is just the most out of left field.
Well, I also think I think part of it was how caught up. Speaking of Jellyfisher, how caught up Jellyfisher got on this. He spent like 3 pages talking about it.
Right.
Really? I don't remember that at all.
He returned to it. I think like he would not let it go.
Was Jellyfisher Scum that game? He wasn't Scum.
No.
Oh, okay. That's what makes it more prominent. Then I can understand that.
Yeah, you totally sunk him. It was like kind of like watching him. You know that meme from what's that show with the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's like putting all the tacks on the board and like trying to make the connections. That's how Jellyfisher was playing in that game.
Alabrel's old avatar.
Yeah.
Well, okay, fine. I'll give it to him a little bit, but yeah. I think if Borichu hadn't have died, or if I had chose someone else, I think I would have drastically changed at least that aspect of being like, yeah, I was just trying to out Maddie because he was having bad play. People might have related to that, and then we could have moved on from that. Because I think I was told that if it was a planet that I found, the scale would be like broken or something because it wouldn't be able to read it. And then if it was a human, it'd be normal body temperature. So
I would love to see the outcome if instead of putting the D, you had just put the degrees symbol and seen how that would have played out. I don't know if that would have been worse or better.
So I'll be honest. I do remember that part. The reason why I chose D is that I couldn't figure out how to put the degree symbol. So I did D, so I have some weird out. I could do Celsius, I could do Fahrenheit, I could do the Lyle.
Or you could do Monkey D. Luffy's middle initial.
Yeah, but that wouldn't make any sense. Because it's not in the middle.
Just throwing this out there for my One Piece fans. They got a feed too.
I'm a One Piece fan, and I did not like that. I'm sorry.
Wooed. All right. Is there anyone you want to thank for the Nation?
I mean, I want to thank Matty Stacks for giving me the opportunity to try to just, play off a horrible day one and just get all my anger and my emotion out on being vanilla and trying something new, guys. You just got to go out there and have fun, Yeah, so what if people get mad at you for, I think there was a quote at the end of the game, like right as the thing ended, just stop fucking lying as town or something like that. And I don't know if it was directed at me, but I probably was. But hey, we all had fun. That was a good game. It's a great flavor. Sally Smith, she did great. She did a good job. She tried. I think that was my character's name.
Thanks for being a good sport about it.
Sure. I mean, I won something. You guys
That's
know me.
right.
I'm very competitive. I like to win. So.
And you can come on next time and pass the award to another worthy bluffer, or maybe you try to go big or go home, double down, make a bigger bluff this year.
I swear I had another one, but the coat one. I thought I had a coat one that people used to read for. Maybe that was last year. Never
Yeah, they
mind.
start to blend together.
My terrible lies.
Oh, the years.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, thanks for coming
Well,
on, Matt.
And thanks for having me on, guys.
On to our fourth category. We've covered the worst bluff of the year. Let's go to the best bluff of the year.
Let's go.
Got 5 powerful lies.
Love lies.
In first, you know who it be. Renfield 89
Oh God.
claimed Miller Day won first game of the year. Talk about the sack on that man.
Okay.
Next up, not to be outdone, got Absol Trainer, who claimed Harry the Herdier Day 1 and somehow made it through the game talking about these crates that were going to help everyone, despite the fact that they kept screwing everyone over. How'd you guys let him get away with that?
Yeah, how did you guys let him get away with that?
On to Fear the Pika, who claimed Pope Eggs Benedict and successfully infiltrated and sabotaged Weiss, got him voted out of the game.
He sure
convinced the rest of the tribunal, despite being very shady about it all. He's got away with it.
Eggs Benedict.
Our fourth nominee, Absol Trainer again. We'll see if Alex's
Split the vote theory.
rule of splitting the votes, comes back to bite him here. But Absol Trainer investigated, but never disclosed who Superstar had seared, because he, as a member of the Mafia in that game, he could not use town abilities. So he hadn't investigated anyone, but he had to say somebody. And luckily, he got taken off the hook there by Rax. Finally, we have Jellyfisher getting nominated in both the best and worst bluff categories. That's pretty interesting.
Go big or go home.
Shoot
And
your
he
shot.
managed to make his role sound town. Alex, can you give us a few more details about that?
Oh, sure. He this is in the Happy Town Friends game, where he claimed to be Mary the cat from Animal Crossing, and he made up a very elaborate role called American Idol, where he went through this point system and how he had this chat ability, but it was all made up, and he got away with it.
All good bluffs, a very tightly contested set of nominees here. But Alex, who's Vegas's favorite?
All right, this is kind of tough. I'm gonna break my rule that I established
Last category.
Yes, and I'm gonna say Harry the Herdier, Absol Trainer, is the favorite to win this. Again, I think that was a very memorable lie. I think maybe what would cause it to lose, though, is it's probably a sore subject for a lot of players.
And just out of curiosity, what do you think is the weakest of the pack?
The weakest?
Yeah, whose lie was like, why should we have nominated?
I mean, I might be biased because I feel like I saw through Fear the Pika's Benedict, so I don't want to pick that one. Well, in my eyes, I'm like, well, that was the weakest because I saw through that. But I would say if I picked one that got the least amount of votes, it would probably be Absol Trainer's other lie, the investigation one, just because I don't think that's like a one that really hit home for a lot of people.
Interesting. Graham,
Interesting.
Like, that one probably won.
Graham, you're up on Alex on this one. He's got to make a comeback. So
I know.
I try to play a little bit more fast and loose here.
He
Who do
didn't-
you think are our top two?
He didn't even mention the ones that I think. Well, he did kind of. I think you won.
Now let me clarify first. We have a tie for second and third here, so you can
Okay.
either give us all three, or
I'll
you
give.
can
I'll
just
give all
try to
three.
go for it. Yeah, okay.
I'll give all three. I think the Sarah claim won, and then I think
So the Seer claim one.
no, the Sarah. Yours is it not Sarah? What
Oh,
was it?
okay.
The Miller
Yeah,
claim.
you're right.
And then I think the investigation, and I think AT's other two tied for second, third.
Oh, interesting. So you do think it was kind of split?
I don't think it was necessarily because they're both AT they split. I think it just so happened.
I'm happy to tell you, neither one of you got this one.
Oh damn!
Now our winners, Fear the Pika, Pope Benedict.
Oh, okay.
People liked
I
it.
told you I was biased.
He came close to getting away with it too. If it weren't for those damn kids on the last day, he might have been the one coming away with a win there.
If it weren't for those damn rules.
But he got to
and
drive the
loopholes.
McLaren in the ending of
In
the story.
second, third, we've got my own claim about being the Miller tied with Jellyfisher's claim about making his flowers sound town. Vegas really bit the dust on this one. Last place.
These
Harry the
sharps.
Herd.
These sharps. Oh my goodness.
I gotta believe that's. How could you guys not believe the Wasps were bad for you, right?
I mean, technically, Vegas still wins, so.
Okay.
Well, do we have a
Well,
FTP to talk
Why don't
about?
why don't we
Yeah.
get Fear the Peak on and let him defend his own rationale here? Like, you guys didn't think he deserved it. Let's bring him on.
That's not okay.
Have him tell you guys why he had the best bluff of 2020. Welcome back to the podcast. This might come as a shock to you. You guys didn't know we were going to have you on for a second segment, but Fear the Pika, you're coming home with 2 trophies today. Congratulations on 2020's best bluff of the year,
Oh,
Oh,
Mr. Pope Benedict himself. How's that make you feel?
He's surprised again.
yes, I'm surprised. I don't know. I mean, it's surprising, and I'm really happy that level of
So-
inane stupidity.
You're taking home a trophy for a moderator, taking home a trophy now for player? I mean, this man has the whole deal. What's up?
And he says he doesn't want to play.
Triple threat.
I know, right? Well, maybe I will have to change my mind.
Well, who did you vote for? Let's just be honest. Let's throw that out here.
Best bluff? It wasn't that.
You did vote yourself.
No, of course I didn't vote myself.
We had Kyle Renfield with his Sarah bluff. Then we had Absol Trainer's Harry the Herdier. Then Absol Trainer's investigating of Superstar and Turnabout Karma. And then Jelly's making up his American Idol.
Oh, yeah, I voted for you.
Well, thank you, but you should have voted yourself.
I only ask again because once again you have nudged Jellyfisher out into second place by 1 vote.
I want to know who this one vote is.
And well, to be fair, I also tied you for second place, Jelly. But I wanted, I phrased it for the ultimate pain.
I'll take it. I'm always second. Always.
I know. I'm so sorry, Jellyfish. After doing this to you for a Player of the Year last year, I feel a little bad now.
He'll live.
Are there any other categories where he got second?
I guess stay tuned and we'll see if we talk more about Jellyfisher. Well, did you think that you were going to get away with this all the way till the last day of the game?
No, I really didn't.
It was a pretty out there claim, just taking out a Pope. Was this your first idea of who you were going to claim to be?
Oh, no, and Graham's shaking his head. No, I went through like 5 different claims, I think, and I talked with Graham about all of them. There was the universe where I claimed Benedict Arnold day one, Pope Benedict. I looked into like every significant Benedict in history.
Why did you stick to Benedict though? Like, what was the hang up on having to have that in the name? Because I also was thinking about making a safe claim because I was the seer, but I was going for totally different characters.
So then I could claim Benedict Arnold later if I needed to, because it turns out, oh look, these people aren't really the little nobodies of Benedict Arnold. They're the worst people in history. I just didn't know that.
It was also because you dropped an eggs reference on day one.
Oh yeah, the egg reference.
Well, I mean, that sounds like the opposite order of how I would do it. I wouldn't reference something and then I wouldn't come up with a claim for something I had already said. I would say something because I had a claim in mind. You know? Are you saying that it was that?
I think your brain works differently than a lot of other players.
Are you serious?
I think there are a lot of players who like, I'm gonna fake breadcrumb so that I can go back with my fake claim and be like, look at, here's my breadcrumb. Yeah, Kyle, that's a real thing.
When I'm mafia, I'll drop like breadcrumbs in case I need to go back to different ones. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. That's intentional. Like I'm saying, do people just go back at what they said posted earlier? Like he said eggs in a post, and is he going back and saying?
I think he specifically said eggs because he was planning on claiming something Benedict, so he could say eggs Benedict.
Yeah.
Well, we're on the same side.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, it was a confusing mess, but I mean, it worked for a little while.
And how'd you feel about Superstars catching you at the lowercase t there?
I was so annoyed and so impressed.
I could feel like a change in tone in your post after that happened, where you got like kind of serious after that, and I was like, I don't think I've seen his side.
Oh, I meant it. Honestly, I just wanted him dead. I knew I was not going to win. There was this tiny universe where I might win if everything turned out the exact way I wanted it to, but I knew it probably wouldn't. I just wanted to outlive him at that point. If I could get him voted off, I would win. At least in my heart.
And it almost got you there. I think that I came in with this trophy. Do you know anyone you want to thank for this one?
Superstar, for motivating me. It was honestly one of the best things I've seen, and wow, I am so impressed by him. I'm so glad he came back to, make me lose.
Agreed. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll see more of you on the pod in the future in 2021.
Of course.
Oh, Ducklet's dinner party. You get completed.
Category number 5.
Yeah.
2020's Best Blind Scum Hunch. I wish we could come up with a better name for this category, but basically the blind scum hunches, you got your reads and you totally go in on one that you don't have necessarily proven categorical evidence that you are correct, but you are using a circumstantial evidence maybe, or you're just going with your gut, and that leads you to success. Did I put that correctly, Graham?
That sounds good. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you decide, again, what the category means to you, but that's what it means to me.
Okay.
We've got 6 nominees for this one. 7, excuse me. It's stacked.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of stacks, we've got Matty Stacks with his list on page 9 of the thread. Not the 9th page of the game, the 9th page of the thread. And while it has 2/3 of the players on it, it has all the mafia on it. And that's eliminating 1/3 of the game. That's pretty good in my book.
I like that.
Second, we've got Raptor Zone, who made a pretty sharp-eyed claim that Superstar and Darth Pika were the only people in the game who claimed humans, and that did not fit the rest of the game, so they must be Mafia. And we've got ProHawk, who, after Raptor Zone's posts, I'm sure he wasn't listening to him because it's not what he's want to do, but he, maybe independently, decided Superstar was Mafia, took the shot, ended up correct. Fourth, we've got Alabrel. He also used a vigilante shot correctly, and that was in conflict resolution on Kralit. I'm saying that correctly. That's how I like to say it. I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong, though. I'll say it correctly.
Correctly.
The fastest way I can think to say it.
I believe just CRL is what a lot of people do.
Oh, okay. Well, he shot CRL. Superstar, he realized, and I think he had some basis for this, but he put it 2 and 2 together from the tribunal and was like, Fear the Pika must be the one who infiltrated the tribunal and got us to remove Weiss, because only he would say F lowercase t p.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Matty Stacks again. We'll see if the vote gets split this time.
No.
He claimed to have witnessed. I cut off my thing here. What did he claim to have witnessed?
Hi, me killing Rax.
Oh, right. In my own game. Dang. Yeah. So he had the investigator role, and he said, I saw who the killer was, and then he waited the
entire day.
And then he was like, it was Poti, and Poti was Mafia. Yeah. And finally, we have Absol Trainer. His day one list in the final game of the year, I believe, had 3 of the 4 Mafia members on it. Pretty impressive. Now, once again, this is pretty evenly distributed. So this is going to be a tough one. No one really separated themselves here by very much. I think, let me see here. Let's see. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we're only separated by 1 vote going down to second, another vote down to going to third, and then down to fourth, and then 4th, 5th, 6th are ties. Or I'm sorry, 5th, 7th, or 5th, 6th, 7th are ties. So, Alex, make some sense of this to me. We got such good nominees.
Yeah,
they all got
strong,
votes.
Arguably the strongest category we've had so far tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I was getting slipped up on. One did not get votes. So yeah, I was correct the first time. 5th, 6th, 4th, 5th, 6th, we're all tied.
I think the favorite's got to be F lowercase t p. It's, when you think about all of these, it's got to be one that really sticks in your head. Like, oh yeah, he actually went back through and control F'd, all the FTPs to figure this out.
You're saying Superstar, right?
Superstar, yes. Sorry. Yeah. The lie was about FTP.
Just to be clear for our audience, yes. Okay. Now, Graham.
Yes.
You got to make a call here.
First, prior to me making a call, I'd like to take a trip down Scummies memory lane, back to previous Scummies of the past. Where did your backpack? I know in this category. Okay. And I know that in this category last year, we had Absol Trainer nominated for catching me as Crobat 42 when my phone auto-corrected his name, and he went back and he found where it had happened like that again. Did that win last year? I don't remember.
We'll have our stat boy maybe go back and take a look at our winners from last year. He can jump back in here and let us know.
Yeah, that'd be great. It shouldn't be that hard to find, I don't think, on the World Wide Web. So I'm going to continue.
I don't know that we ever actually listed out the winners last year. We might have just made everyone listen.
Oh, you know what? It'd probably be easier if I looked it up. given that it's
You
my
guys,
Google
you
Form.
guys never filled out the winners. You just
Oops.
All right, we paused and looked it up, and Absol Trainer did win this last year
Okay.
for that very reason, for an autocorrect or for the way things were spelled.
Yes.
So there's precedent.
So yes, so following that, we're going to see if this theory is going to hold up. I'll go ahead and I'll put the Superstar FTP Hunch at number 1, and at number 2, I'm going to go with the Matty Stacks page 9, thread page 9 list.
Well, you got second place in that. Matty Stacks was in second place.
Wow,
but in
precedent's
first
out the
place,
window.
Let's bring him on in here. It's our very own Raptor Zone.
Oh, what?
Oh, wow. Okay.
How you doing, champ? Welcome to the awards show. Tell us about your excellent Scum Hunch.
I'm glad I could beat Vegas and score the underdog win.
Do some money on yourself?
Yeah. I guess I just have to thank Superstar and Darth Pika for having shitty lies and role claims.
Wow.
No one does it by themselves.
That's right.
Congratulations. You just edged out the Stackerson. Well, all of these were quite good. We had a pretty stacked field. Now, Raptor Zone, you got to play in games to defend your titles.
I was pretty happy with my performance this year. I was 500, but I'd call this game an almost win. It was as close as we could get without winning.
Hey, 2 games played, 1 award to show for it.
That's right.
It's pretty good.
It's all worth it.
It's a decent ratio. Okay, we're over halfway done.
Killing it.
Why don't we go to our 6th category of the evening? This is going to be the honorary Russian/American Charizard Burnt the Town to the Ground Award. And this is an award that we give for a player who totally derails the town's chances of winning the game. Now, there's a lot, always going to be, I think, a hardy category, given that for some reason Mafia wins on HeyTrainer more than the town does.
Uh-huh.
Imagine this category, town won every game. That wouldn't be very fun, would it?
We'd have to change it to Mafia burnt the.
I would
Mafia.
Oh, he zagged on me. I like that. Now, let's take a look. Now that I have it pulled up, who won this category last year?
It's like we should have been doing this the whole time.
It was Darth Pika. Now, Darth Pika is not going to get to defend his title. He gets to move it on. I'm sure he's disappointed. But our nominees are that, as we mentioned earlier, 36.9 degrees that Atarian came up with that ended up sealing his victory in the worst bluff of the year category. We'll see if he can snag a second award. We've got Matty Stacks, who took that tandem priest role we mentioned at the top and gave it up. And he ended up holding the vote hostage against what would turn out to be the Mafia's alpha. Tough stuff. Then we've got Awast, who ended up being another alpha's greatest advocate. Actually, the same alpha, excuse me. And then totally halted a vote on that decisive day 4, resulting in no players being removed from the game. And then, once again, we have a dual nominee, Matty Stacks. What have you done? You single-mindedly pursued Jellyfisher and made sure that he got removed from the game and turned out to be wrong. And then you botched that call out of Poteet, what could have been a swing in the game turned out to be game ending. Now, Vegas. Who's it going to be?
I think this might be Vegas's heaviest favorite of the night so far.
Oh my!
Oh, interesting.
I don't like the face you made there, Kyle. Because I think you know what I'm going to go with, and I think the big favorite is Awast and his stalling the Darth Pika vote. One, as I mentioned earlier, this is a very memorable night in HeyTrainer Mafia, I think, and Awast did a little campaigning in the thread where if you went and opened that thread to grab the link to vote, you might have seen Awast reminding people, hey, remember that really shitty night I had? You should vote for that.
I mean, a winner's a winner, right?
That's right.
No one's going to remember you were nominated.
As a winner, you just want to be known as a winner.
Unless we pull up the ballot. So
that's right.
Graham, what would your top two be here then? You going to go with Vegas or not?
I'm going Awast in the 2 position. I think. And then I'm going Maddie Stacks hostaging the vote number 1.
Okay. Now who'd you vote for then?
I believe Maddie hostaging the vote.
Okay. Well, I voted the other way, and your top 2 was right, just in reverse.
Okay. All right. So
congratulations,
Vegas.
Awast.
Yeah, great job, Vegas.
Yours was like a whole city being burned to the ground. Maddie's was more like a podunk town.
It was a small suburb.
It was. I mean, we'll talk to him there. It was a game-changing moment in that game.
All nominees did receive votes, but you were correct in assuming this was one of the more lopsided ones, as Awast received 50% of the vote. So why don't we bring on the man himself? I'm curious whether he's going to push back or whether he's totally embraced it, given that he was campaigning. We'll see if it was sarcastic or if it was the words of a man who saw it coming and what's the phrase? Spoke it into life. All right, welcome onto the pod, our own personal HeyTrainer Jacko, Awast. How's it feel, man?
Good. Glad to be here. I feel like the curtains got pulled back, and now I understand some kind of Seek Darker world where you guys record all your podcasts.
That's exactly how we like to think of it. What a coincidence. Now, I haven't explicitly told you the reason for being on the podcast. Just told you we've been talking a lot about you. Let me be the first to congratulate you on your honorary Russian Charizard Burnt the Town to the Ground award.
Yeah, like I said when you first reached out to me, I sort of figured. And as I posted right after Superstar, I pretty much have an acceptance speech ready because it was pretty bad.
So I want you to imagine whatever image in your mind you have of Darth Pika, a Pikachu wearing a Palpatine outfit or whatever that may be.
We're actually friends. We're friends on Facebook, so we argue quite a bit about everything on Facebook as well.
Fair. Well, imagine maybe him clutching onto the trophy and not wanting to relinquish it, and you yank it out of his hands like a lightsaber, and you strike him down. So give us your speech.
Yeah, so I think, in that game, if we want like a quick play-by-play, I think the most important part that I was surprised didn't get mentioned by either of the moderators whenever you guys were reviewing this pod or that game on your podcast is so in day, I think it was day 2. Night 2, I caught T cards with taking action that was killing Master Mukau, or not Master Mukau, whoever it was. He killed someone. I caught him. And I actually didn't even really try to target T cards. That was kind of a mistake. So I tried to target Tomahawk, but I wasn't allowed to because of whatever stupid box that the Absol trainer had put out that day. So my secondary target was T cards, and I put that in the message because I literally hadn't even kept track of who I could target. And so I happened to hit T cards. And so, of course, going into the day after that, we're like, oh, cool, I just got a Mafia. I'm the town MVP. I'm ready to, I'm ready to go catch the rest of the Mafia and do it all myself. So I put some hero ball on, and I was basically playing that entire game day as if I was the only one with good ideas. It was pretty much the exact opposite of consensus building and team building. Or like I've been reading. So one of the things I do for work is a lot of forecasting. So I've been reading a lot of forecasting books where you're just trying to like throw things against the wall and help people to get all their ideas out there. And that day was sort of the exact opposite of that. It was just me. So like we're gonna freaking kill Ducklet. Ducklet's, I don't trust this. We're gonna kill him, and then we'll just go read we'll go read the last 3 or 4 days, and we'll figure out who's the mafia from that, even if he's not mafia.
Now, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's starting to sound like this award is almost a lot like Russell Westbrook's MVP award. He was out there hero balling all the work.
Yeah, well, he made the playoffs too, so he did something right.
How do they refer to him? Like not people who support his MVP candidacy? Was it like they weren't truthers? They were like, it was masturbatory or something.
I think that's accurate. Yeah.
Is this mean I average triple doubles in all my Mafia games?
Hey, if that's
but no playoff. You don't win the playoffs. There's the writing on the wall.
That's true. I can't really even remember the last time I won a Mafia game because I'm almost always down.
I think you went 0 for 5 when I put up the tally this year.
I've been down. Yeah, I've been down every single time except for Graham's game, which okay, like both of Graham's games. One of which I was in independent faction with HeyTrainer that I got miskilled day one because whoever it was transferred a kill from Cran to me. And then the other one, I was Mafia.
I'm pretty sure it was Kyle that wanted to kill Cran. So Kyle was responsible for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was Mafia in the game where there weren't really Mafia, and you just were on your own little world, and I got to put people in concentration camps and listen to people at night because I was Handler.
I've got the Duck Holiday topic pulled up, and I just want to pull up this gem. This is a post from you, AWAS, at 10:59 p.m. 10:59. This is less than a minute before the deadline. Switch now. This is in reference of everyone switching to Tomahawk, and at that point, Tomahawk was 6 votes away from being voted off. So,
well, to be fair, that count's probably not accurate because. That gem of a box we got that day
that's true. They're the pairings.
So we're probably actually like two switches away.
That is true. I forgot about the pairs.
I need to have some credit. Yeah, I vividly remember this day for whatever reason because my wife was asleep, so I'm like out in our living room, just laying on the floor, just like pissed beyond belief that people will not switch their votes.
This was an interesting week because this is also the week that the U.S. quarantine started. Like,
is it?
Yes,
okay.
This is the same. This is like the night after all of that start. Like Tom Hanks got it and Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, okay.
So this was a very eventful week.
Tom Hanks, Rudy Gobert, and AWAS burning the town.
Yep, those are the top 3.
Hopefully it's seared into our minds. I'm already starting to forget why Darth Pika won the first one. So hopefully remember why you won this one next year.
Yeah.
At least he'll overshadow that I no voted that night. Everyone will forget that.
Yeah. It was definitely my fault.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, AWAS. Is there anyone you want to thank?
Yeah. I mean, I think this could have been done without HeyTrainer and his silly boxes ruining the entire voting day. Beyond that, I guess just you two are both mods. The other mods that have ran games, even though, like I said, I lose pretty much every time because I play town pretty much every time. Thanks for running the games. It's enjoyable, and hopefully the one we're currently in now ends well for the town.
Our 7th category is a pretty sure thing. We've got Newcomer of the Year. And we only have one new player who completed a game.
Oh no!
So your choices were Johnny Bones, who I think played in 2 games, might have been 3. I don't remember off the top of my head. And Anthrax. No, I'm just kidding. Abstain. I just felt like it was not really a choice. Like you might as well not put it on the ballot if you don't have a second choice. So I threw abstain on there. And overwhelmingly, Johnny Bones comes away Player of the Year. Might have been the only person
Player of the
nominated,
Year.
but he did have some. I'm sorry, not Player of the Year, Newcomer of the Year.
We'll say Vegas did not have a line on this. You could not gamble on this. There was no line.
Really, there's like a long shot odds for Anthrax.
It was
Write-in ballots
plus-
for Anthrax.
plus 10,000 for.
Wow.
Well, not much to say about that one. Always good to have more fresh blood. Hopefully, we can have some more nominees on next year's ballot.
Was last year the all-star year of the Alabel crew all being nominated?
Yes, it was.
I don't know. How are you going to top that rookie
Newcomer
class?
of the Year? Well, last year's Rookie of the Year was none of them. It was Pathicus.
Oh, well, Pathicus was deserving. Still, solid.
We'll see later on if Pathicus can be the first player to go from Newcomer of the Year to Player of the Year.
Wow. It'll be hard to surpass that rookie class of last year.
True that. Let's go to what will probably be many players' favorite post of the year, our 8th category. It's going by pretty fast. I thought it'd be fun to just look back on the posts from last year. We had a tie at the top. Well, actually, hold on. I have to go to the question. It's like cut off. Poteet and Tomahawk saying, what could a college kid have to do on a Tuesday night? And Poteet responding, pickup mimicking the pickup function from that game of trying to grab an item. The other first place one was, I have to flip back to see the results. It was also you, Poteet. Dang. If you had 2 last year, where were your good posts this year?
I guess I know it wasn't memorable this year.
I would have asked for a sub by now if I was Darth Picus, damn it.
That's good. That's good.
Well, let's see if ours from this year can compete with those gems. Our nominees for post of the year include Matty Stacks, his long post. I nominated this one because I got a kick out of it about how if ice doesn't exist, then you can't play ice hockey, and there's nothing to deter heat. And then by the end of it, he says like, "Don't be long-winded," and what have you done there, buddy? And also, I put the slashes in the nomination because in his intrusive form, he skips a line between all of his posts. Can't leave that out when you're making a judgment.
Man's consistent.
Then our second nominee was myself. Greatest burden to the town. This game's going to be trying to drag Deadweight Hawk across the finish line. Had to get in a good jab. Then we've got I Just Want the Town to Win, so we don't get berated on Poteet and Winfield podcast from Matty Stacks. Johnny Bones had a crass, I'm gonna have to take a cold shower after getting blue balled by Matty all night.
A lot of Matty in the post of the year.
Huh?
I said a lot of Matty Stacks here in the post of the year.
Indeed. Nominated twice and mentioned in another. Then you've got Jellyfisher here making a pun about this being the last time you'll be in the game. And then finally, we've got some wordsmithery from Atarian about how he thought he had revoted and he's revolted at having not done so.
That's like an English teacher's like wet dream, right? Yeah.
Indeed. Now all these nominees got votes.
Wow.
We had a good crowd. Does that make your decision harder of who to set as the favorite, Cousin Al?
I think it was already a hard decision. This is not an easy A lot of these could win. I guess my gut is going to go with the Matty Stacks Ice quote.
Oh, interesting.
I think that's what the people want.
Indeed. So are you placing your money with the favorite, Graham?
No. But in a way, yes. I'm going to say it's a repeat of last year. Not necessarily a tie at the top. Matty Stacks podcast is number 1. Ice quote number 2.
Wow. Totally nails it.
Nice.
Matty coming in first and second. Who'd you vote for in this category, Graham?
I voted for the podcast comment.
Well, I voted for the ice one, so that would explain it. Kind of contributed to that. It was a pretty big margin of victory, though, for first place. 40% of the vote going to not wanting to get berated on your favorite podcast.
Wanted the podcast to get one award. This is an honorary award.
So, let's get the funny man on here. He's chock full of them. Let's see if he's got another.
Matty.
Come on in, Matty Stacks. All right. Welcome on to the pod, Matthew Stackerson, the stackiest of Matts. Say hi to all the loyal listeners out there.
Hello, hidden roleplay listeners.
I thought you were going to stop at listener for a second.
Now that there's at least 2, right?
There's at least 2. Yeah.
There's at least 2.
I believe both Matts listen.
Well, thanks for coming on, our biggest fan.
Yeah,
I want to be the first to congratulate you on having the post of the year on HeyTrainer Mafia. It's virtually a glorified popularity award. Everyone thinks you're a funny man for saying, I just want to win, so we don't get berated on Poteet and Renfield's podcast.
Oh, yeah. I thought that'd be a fan favorite. I kind of threw that in there just,
You knew at the time that it was gold.
I was playing the crowd a little bit.
Sometimes
I like my ice post and thermo dynamics and other stuff like that better, but whatever.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that.
It is, because you got second placed as well.
Okay.
So
nice.
Truly the cream of the crop. No one can compare to your post this year.
Yeah, it's word art. That's many saying.
I voted for that one personally. I just, it is very conceptual. It is something you'd like see in a museum.
Yeah, just I don't know. People don't use the English language, to its full extent.
Right. It's like that movie where you unlock like more than how much percent everyone else uses of their brain.
Yeah.
Limitless.
Limitless. I take some Adderall and whatever it is. Not condoning that or anything,
I was going to say, is that how we get on your level?
Yeah.
So, which one did you vote for?
I don't know. One of mine, I think. Probably the ice one. It'll be elongated, basically just a paragraph saying that someone's skating in an interesting way.
Some of these I like that you can tell whose they are without seeing the name next to him. And yours, I had to include the dashes in there, the slashes, I mean, because it wouldn't be a Matty Stacks post in true form if you didn't have hit the return key in between lines.
It is a post you need to see on HeyTrainer.
That's true. Yeah.
I think my posts are visually pleasing. I hate block text. I don't read some people's posts because it's one big block. I'm not Bob the Builder.
Bob the Builder. Wow.
Wow, throwing shade.
Still dropping quotes. Did you feel like you were ever berated on the podcast at any point after a game?
I know the last podcast I didn't even bother tuning in because I know which games I'm gonna have a little. You guys are gonna have some things to say, and maybe sometimes I do outlandish activities in the game just so I can have a little segment on your podcast.
Oh, playing to the crowd.
Do know his game now. But
I'm not narcissistic, but I mean, who knows?
That's a winner's mentality. You got to tune out the criticism.
Yeah.
We'll see how you can parlay that into more success in 2021. Hopefully, we get some more gems from you next year. Is there anyone you want to thank for inspiring you this year to make such great posts? Or
did I win any more awards? I was up for some more. Was that it?
You'll have to stay tuned. We might have you on another segment.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank Tito's Vodka. Sometimes I'll just sit down with a glass, and a lamp on a leather chair and a nice wood table. And
why aren't you live streaming yourself playing HeyTrainer Mafia?
Do all video posts from now on.
No, just picture Ernest Hemingway just sitting in the corner with a glass of scotch, with a ink pen in his hand, just his first words, old man in the sea type stuff. That's sometimes I'll just sit down with a nice glass of wine and I'll just be like, okay, we're gonna post today. And sometimes it's more very direct, and I'm just, I don't know.
I think that's just one of the two things you and Hemingway have in common. The other being that I think Hemingway would also choose a dicks out Frankie avatar.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on, Maddie. It was a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
And we'll see if you won any more of those other awards. Stay tuned.
Oh, hopefully.
There's only 2 categories left. I'm sorry the pie is concluding.
Okay.
But they're big ones. These are some primo top choice meat here. We've got meat. Moderator of the Year. Can't tell you how much it meant to me to be first Scummy Award winner.
Okay.
Moderator of the Year. I put so much work into Bride of Raptor Zone. Who is going to be the winner? We've got 4 nominees, either singles or pairs here. First, we've got Poutine.
Hello.
Overachiever, moderated 2 games, devising them all on his lonesome with some help from tallies. Then we've got Fear the Pika and Jellyfisher, classic tandem. Then we've got myself. Could I win back to back?
Could you?
And then we've got Newcomer CRL, who paired up with Fear the Pika. So, in this most prestigious of categories, this is much like this to me. This is like winning the Golden Globe or something.
Wow. Okay.
Just the Golden Globe,
just one of them.
Not a specific Golden Globe.
Or this one's like the most like an Oscar.
This is like Best Director, whereas Player of the Year would be like,
Best Actor or something. Yeah.
We don't have a Best Game of the Year. I guess this would be the closest we get to it.
Well, I think it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people argue Best Director.
In that case, be like the outcome.
A lot of people argue Best Director and Best Film are very similar in the Oscar because a lot of times they line up with each other in most years. Although in recent years, it's been a little different. If you ever want to talk Oscars with Raptor Zone,
spin-off pod.
So what you're saying is we should combine the Moderator and Player of the Year categories.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Player of the Year is more of like Best Actor.
Well, since you're the man who knows all about Hollywood, why don't you tell us who should be favored in this category?
This is tough again because it brings up my split the vote because FTP's name is on 2 categories.
Oh no!
If it was maybe just Fear the Pika and then his games in parentheses, he might be the favorite. But I think I'm going to pick.
I did think about splitting it that way, but then we'd have 5, and that would seem unfair to CRL, who'd then be going up against her own person she worked on the game with. And
it'd be kind of awkward.
And that seems like the most, I guess, the least fair to her.
Well, I'm saying, and the way I see it is, if people wanted to vote for Fear the Pika, they had to choose a game where it's like, if there are a lot of people who wanted to vote for Fear the Pika, then some might have liked Happy Town Friends and some might have liked Duck Holiday. So
It's tough.
That's why Poteet is a narrow favorite in this category.
Oh no,
He had 2 games to his
Pressure's on,
name.
Poteet.
the Cousin Al curse.
How do you
oh no,
respond to seeing yourself at the top of Cousin Al's ranking?
I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm nervous. Has he gotten one right
Well, then
yet?
who's it?
Besides AWASP,
Who do you think's it gonna be? Huh?
has he gotten any of the
Anyone, what
categories
besides
right? Has he gotten any of the categories right besides
I
AWASP?
got one right. I got one right early on, I think.
I'm
I
sure he
don't
got
remember.
Johnny Bones right.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Do you want my top 2?
Yeah. Well, everyone received votes,
That's good.
but 3rd and 4th place tied. So yeah, top 2 is what's really separating here, and it was very close.
Oh man, this sounds so egotistical. I'm gonna say you and me in the top 2.
Sorry,
Okay.
you're not right. You want to try again?
No, I
though?
don't.
Okay.
I'm glad
Moderator
I'm
of
wrong.
the year. You're moderator of the year. From me to you,
All
brother.
right.
I'm passing the torch. You did it, fam.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Now, in presenting this award, I do want to say, I thought that first game was a little volatile.
Yeah, that's fair.
A little touch and go there.
That's fair.
And another interesting fact about your moderating, you're the only moderator where the town won a game of the 5.
I did it.
And even that was controversial.
Indeed. And now I
You
think
won
that was
despite the controversy.
I think that was the most compelling case for you, was you had a very balanced game, and it's memorable just in the fact that maybe the correct outcome, we could say, came out.
Yes, we did it. This is a group award.
Now I do wonder, maybe Fear the Pika did get his vote split a little bit there. If he had the other vote, or one of the other votes, he could have brought this to a tie. But
I do want to say every game ran very smoothly this year, so all moderators did a great job.
I agree with that.
An excellent point. And I myself, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, Poteet. I did vote for the pair of Fear the Pika and Jelly.
That's fair. I didn't vote for myself, so I'm down with that.
It's also tough to know how people would vote in this category. I know Kyle,
Indeed.
He has a lot of importance on being on time for things, updated vote counts frequently, whereas other people might be like, well, I had a lot of fun in that game, or, I liked the role Poteet gave me in that game,
Right, playing favorites.
No,
right.
I don't. Hang on a sec.
How magnanimous I'm sure a lot of people in this category more than others don't feel like, I don't want to be the one who votes for myself in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys put me in a tough spot,
Well, do you have an acceptance speech prepared? Do you have any words you want to say?
I mean, I just want to thank all the players of HeyTrainer for letting me moderate them. Without them, this isn't possible. Why is that funny?
What word?
It was very politician.
Thank you.
Well, we only got one category left.
Oh, no.
And it's the big dog. It's the player of the year.
Let's go.
If this was Bill Simmons doing this podcast, Raptor Zone, how big do you think he would make this MVP trophy? Is this a small MVP trophy? Is this a big MVP trophy?
I think this was sort of like, I'm going to compare this to the Derrick Rose. I'm probably going to lose a lot of visitors or listeners on this comparison, but the Derrick Rose year, where it was like, yeah, I guess we'll give it to Derrick Rose. That works. But no one really stood out, You had some Dwight Howard, you had some Kobe in there.
That was like his last relevant year.
He had some moments last year, a few.
He scored 50 points.
Now,
He
last
did.
year, this was a pretty cut and dry case of only 2 people stood above the rest. That was Jellyfisher and Borichu.
Mhm.
That was a much.
You'd have the
stronger
option to
choice.
write in a candidate, but nobody did. Everyone was on the same page.
Proud of them.
Those 2 stood above the rest.
I said I was proud of them.
Yeah. And in the end, Borichu pulled out a nail biter and became our first HeyTrainer Mafia Player of the Year. First Scummy for it.
Let's go.
And Borichu has taken most of the year off.
What do you mean? She was
So
killed
why don't we
first
bring
in,
on-
Turnabout Karma.
Say what?
She was killed first in Turnabout Karma.
Yeah. But, and then... Oh, hey. I see what you did. I thought you were talking about the day that she got removed from the game, day 2.
Oh, no.
Anyway, why don't we bring on the Player of the Year to pass the torch on to our next Player of the Year. Okay, for our most honored, our most prestigious, our largest trophy of the night, I'm going to turn it over now to last year's winner, Borichu. How are you, Borichu?
Hello, I am very well, thanks. Happy to be here, privileged to be here. Lovely to hear all your voices.
Well, it's nice to have you
Mhm.
back. I feel like you've been out of our lives for a little bit.
I agree with that.
Yeah, 2020's been a bit like that.
So, let's I've been kind of walking our way through these awards, but I think since you haven't had the opportunity to talk Mafia with us for a while, I figured I'd just let you handle the nominees, handle the presentation. So take it away.
Hi, thank you very much, Renfield. It's a real honor to be here presenting the most prestigious award of not just a year, but I'd say someone's life. This is really a life-defining moment. The Player of the Year in HeyTrainer Mafia. Like, can your life really peak higher than that? I know mine can't. This
I
is
couldn't have said
why
it better
I've
myself.
disappeared. Where is there to go after Player of the Year? Nowhere. That's
true.
it. So I hope that the recipient of this year's award is just as understanding of what a great honor it is to receive such an award. I'm sure that people who win Oscars are probably pretty happy, but they know that they haven't got anything on this.
They're just on
Like,
TV.
this is the pinnacle of human achievement. So this year's nominees for Player of the Year are Absol Trainer, Darth Picker, Pathicus, Petite, Renfield, and Superstar, which I'm sure is a real cross-section of HeyTrainer Mafia skill and talent. Although, as I've barely followed along this year, I am very grateful to not actually know how well any of these people played. I'm sure they were all fantastic. You're
To be
all
sure, I
players
wanna-
of the
I wanna
year in
chime in
my
here.
heart.
I do want to chime in with how these players came to be nominated. As I said before, it was pretty cut and dry which 2 players were a cut above the rest last year. But this year, obviously, we've got more nominees. And I decided to make, since I was the one who did most of the ballot, to make 2 stipulations. One, you had to win most of your games, and you had to play in most of the games. So that's it. You had to play in at least 3 games, and you had to win more than half of them. And so that's why we've got 2 and 1 players and 3 and 2 players.
Makes sense. All right, so 6 nominees, going from equal third place. We had 2 players who received exactly the same number of votes. So in equal third were Petite and Superstar, who won 15.8% of the vote each. I don't know how many votes that is,
I'll
but
take it.
a very nice wedge of the pie. So congratulations to both of you. In second place, we have, looking at the colours, Absol Trainer, who won 26.3% of the vote. which means that our winner of 2020's Player of the Year, if anyone wants to, do a drum roll in their minds and in their hearts, just insert that here. 2020's HeyTrainer Mafia Player of the Year was Renfield.
Wow.
96.8% of the vote.
I'm honored.
Congratulations, Renfield. Your life only goes
Wow.
downhill from here.
A tear has been brought to my eye. I'm humbled. I'm not prepared. I couldn't have imagined.
Did you play past day 2 of any game?
Yes. Rude. Now, since I was the only one who knew the outcome of this, I obviously am a little prepared to talk about it.
Go ahead.
The listeners can't see, but Kyle is pulling out a giant notebook. It seems he has prepared a written statement.
Okay.
Do you have an
See
acceptance
votes falling
speech?
out of it?
Do I have an acceptance speech? Well, I'm not going to lie and say that I'm humbled now. I'm not going to lie and say that I've achieved all there is to achieve, because I could just win it again next year, and that would be achieving more.
Okay.
Always wanting more. Always wanting more.
I'm ever driven, and this isn't going to stop me. I intend to uphold the title and prove that I am worthy of it in the games to come. I would just like to give a brief overview of what I did in these games.
Let's talk about some of your more.
Is this a threat?
Ones. Don't cross his path.
So, first game of the year, I started out strong with my Miller Bluff, and it got me through half of the game. But then someone copied my abilities, and I got exposed. Wasn't much I could do about that. But we did keep the Mafia afloat for long enough for Mars and Rax to make that into a win. And then, what was the following game? It was Duck Holiday. And again, this is the one that I always space on.
Were you in this game?
Yes, he was the newsman or the newsboy in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Jeez.
So this is the game that I lost, but this is the game I'm most proud of in a long time. It's a game where I got eliminated at the end of day 2, I believe. And it's one where I strung everyone along in a very annoying way with an accent. And then laid an elaborate trap and caught 2 Mafia players in it, and wrote like a thesis where I like cited my notes on like what pages and paragraphs you could find all of their interactions on, tying them together. And I thought to nominate it for best post of the year, but I thought instead I would just hope for the best in this category and use it as my evidence for why I think I deserved it. But and then my other game was another Mafia victory. What was the other game that I played? I'm just
Conflict Resolution.
You were Abraham Lincoln.
Conflict Resolution. Yes, and so in that one, I was going down very rapidly on day 3 because Pope Benedict himself decided that to copy one of my abilities again, or like copy the name of it, and it looked like I was going to get removed from the game, not only for being like a named player, but for having an ability that sounded anti-town. And I was like more than half the votes down the hole. And I think this is one of the rare times where I was able to claw myself back out without necessarily like throwing mud on another player, but by pointing out enough evidence across the game of how I had played town. Specifically, I remember convincing you, Raptor Zone, by pointing out something I had breadcrumbed much earlier in the game about how I had asked for a ruling on how my abilities would interact. And while I didn't say like what it would do, I explained something that could benefit the town from that knowledge and make it make sense later on to help me stay in the game. I also kind of along the way explained how my play had been is like a model for town play, etc.
So confirmed Atarian as town along the way too.
Yes. Took a lot of. I think it took more explaining than it should have to explain how my town was pro town, but that's HeyTrainer town for you.
Some things never change.
So then, Happy Town Friends. You were subbed out in that game, I believe. Right.
So those
For
are my only 3 games.
Tomahawk. Yep.
Great job, buddy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I'm not gonna lie, I did vote for myself,
That's okay.
but I believe for this category, most people did.
I did.
I couldn't.
The mantle. We'll play more games, my friend.
It's all right. I got my win.
Now, I already got my eyes on the prize. I'm thinking about next year, and I'm worried my stiffest competition might be the return of Borichu.
Nah.
Oh,
that was fast. Wow.
She already hasn't come back for the first game, so it's not looking good for the rest.
No, my Mafia time is over.
Well, you're permanently inscribed on our 2-man Mount Rushmore now.
Excellent. This is so that I'll never lose, just for the record. I can't put that in jeopardy.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we talked about that on the pod at the time. I've been mentioning that you were thinking about playing less, and I was like, this is all a ploy to not have to defend your title.
Mm-hmm.
You'll play one game, don't worry. I've got a roll.
I'll just keep forcing you to sign up for games by making you do some kind of mod required kill on night 0 every time.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was fun.
Does anyone else have anything they want to mention either about this category or about the results overall?
Job well done.
Thanks to all the people that came on.
How are you guys feeling about playing smaller games? How are you feeling about the future of modding games, designing games?
I like the swing towards smaller games, even though I also have not been participating anymore. But I think maybe quicker games with longer breaks in between could help. I think some games, the 20 to 30 player plus games, can be a slog, and real life gets in the way. So sometimes games can be affected by that.
You pretty much said what I was going to say. Yeah.
Right.
I think designing a smaller game is easier. It's not easy, but it's easier. So that's nice. Running it's easier. Less PMs to manage.
Our next step, I think, could be shorter day phases. Let's get there. Let's do it.
2-day day phases.
I don't know about that. I have considered what if it was like a 2-1-2-1 scenario, but you'd have to have a really active player base to make it work.
Right. This is a sort of a whole pod on itself that I've always had in my head that we could do as just a state of the metagame and where it could go. Much
kind of like just trickling it in here and there.
Bori's post.
No game design post?
Her famous post from last year.
What do you think, Bori? You said you haven't been as in the loop. Mm-hmm. Are you still thinking about Mafia?
No.
You don't miss it?
No, I'm not. It's great.
Oh.
I'm sorry to say that no, I don't miss it. Obviously I don't really know what the last several games have been like, but it got to the point where every game was more or less the same game, just with very slight variations, and it felt like the metagame was just getting more and more stale.
That's interesting, because I feel like the games aren't same enough. I feel like there's too much variety in the mechanics of the games from game to game.
I'm referring less to the mechanics and more to
And
what
Actual
more to
play.
the discourse.
play. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that.
I would agree. Being away from I've not missed it. Like, I enjoy seeing you guys play and post and sort of catching up on that, but for me it was just stressful. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It affected me differently.
Outside of can,
Other people
I'd
too.
like to just play a game. That'd be nice.
Oh yeah. You died day one.
My last 3 times I've played, I've died day one or night one in 2 of them, and then the other game I literally had to have a roll where I couldn't die to stay alive. So that was
man.
cool.
Well, you should still take it with a grain of salt that Weiss is probably listening. Our man Weiss on ice. I don't think he's made it past a day one in like all 5 games this year, maybe.
Oh
Or
my god.
day 2. or
Day 2,
something.
yeah, I think.
He's got removed from like every single game.
He made it quite late in conflict resolution, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was one of the last.
Oh
night
right,
kills
he's the one who
in
got
conflict.
baited. Yeah,
Yeah.
my mistake.
But other than that, he has been offed early.
What I think would be maybe the best thing for the game is if we could get back up to like the 24 to 26 player number again, but then we ran 2 simultaneous games.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think it'd be really interesting to be able to like just have a thread to watch, like to watch a game going while still playing a game. Because I hate to not be in one, but I do like to just see how other people are doing. It's like really entertaining to be in the dead chat, you know. So be able to just get to know everything from the beginning, like ask the mods of the other game, like who's this, who's that, and just like watch it from start to finish. That'd be really cool.
That is one.
It would also like mean you could it'll use like up your odds in general of getting good rolls if there's fewer people, and so like we also have more nominees like for things like the Scummies, and
people get more games under their belt.
I think it'd be the best thing for activity on the site in general, just to have another game going.
I think that is you mentioned the reading the games, and I think I played in a couple of games when I first joined HeyTrainer, and then I took a long break like I am now. And I think just sitting back and reading the games and asking you and Poteet, like, hey, who's the Mafia team this game? And then just kind of watching how people played does help. Like, sort of that outsider view of like, why would they do this? Or, you know, it helps you see things that maybe you don't see when you're in game, you know?
I agree.
Whereas I think there are a lot of players that could be beneficial to them, seeing why Mafia says certain things, or if they're doing a certain thing, you might notice, oh, I see what they're doing. I can apply that to another game later on that I'm in.
Here's some other cool things I just thought of you could do if you're running simultaneous games. Like, it give more people the opportunity to mod, so people would feel like less like they missed out on playing if they got to mod, and that we needed 6 of them instead of like 3 over the same period of time. And like 2 people could work on a game together. Like we have pairs like Darth, or not Darth, but Fear the Pika and Jelly, and then they could each like run it separately and see the same game. Like we could see how it's going over there versus how it's going over here. Do we have drastically different outcomes, or how did so and so use this role versus how so and so used it? Because that's one of the things I regret about the last game that I modded, was like I didn't feel like that run of it didn't reach its full potential. So if we did it twice, but people don't necessarily want to see everything after it's been spoiled. But if we did it simultaneously, then we would kind of have like a bigger case study for what worked and what didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Good game.
I think it's a pipe dream. No, that'll ever happen.
No. Probably not.
Shorter phases.
Anything else you guys want to talk about?
That's all I want.
Shorter phases.
Yeah, Alex just wants shorter day phases.
I'm all for shorter phases. Quicker games.
Will you come back if there's shorter phases?
I would consider it, yeah. I think with the current state of the meta, a big part of me leaving it's hard for me to keep up every day, and I think there's a lot of players nowadays who are like, well, if you're not posting daily, what are you doing? Like, and it's like, okay, this day phase is Monday through Friday. I'm not getting on every night to make multiple posts. I'm sorry. Like, and if I just get on Wednesday and make some posts, you're just gonna accept that because that's my life. Like, but if we're looking at 2-day phase, then 2 nights, like, then it's okay. I need to get on one of these days and contribute, and then I'm out. If I know I'm committing to a game that's only 2 or 3 weeks, I think I'm more likely to participate more over multiple nights versus, okay, I have to participate 5 nights a week for 2 months. That's hard, and that's stressful and draining.
Yeah, I thought day phases were too long, but I feel like the argument is it's really hard to overcome. Is I have a really busy work schedule, and I need to find time over the course of the week to get to post.
It goes the other way, yeah. The longer day phases also help people who do work a lot of nights, let's say, or so that they.
The really big problem with running simultaneous games would be if one ends before the other. Like, what do you do?
You just gotta wait to flip the cards.
You could stagger them, but that wouldn't be as fun because you'd be playing with the same group all the time.
Yeah.
And that'd be another interesting thing is like you and me, Graham, we could be in different games and you could see like, how's your game going? How's my game going?
With the same role.
Don't know. See, maybe if people get excited about this idea, we could get it going.
It's all part of the plan to make HeyTrainer an all Mafia site.
It's endorsed by your player of the year. Oh, it 100% is. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that is going to wrap it up. Thank you for joining us, Bori.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was an honor to be here.
Thanks for being on with me, Graham. Thanks for being on with me, Alex.
Yeah, buddy. Wouldn't miss it.
It was a good year for Mafia.
I got a game ready. Let's
Keep
go.
it going. You have a game ready?
Wow. Dropping. This is like the post-credit scene. Wow.
That's a good note to leave it on. The hype train starts now.
2021.
Moderator of the year is ready to go. 2020. Well, thank you for joining us. This has been Hidden Roleplay Podcast. And signing off until next year's Scummies. JK will be back in like a couple of weeks. But thank you for joining us.
We're doing the Resistance, right?
If I remember, yes. I keep forgetting what game we're supposed to do.
Okay. Cool. All right. Love you guys.
Peace.